Well, good evening, everyone from Rocky Top, and welcome to Session 2, Community and Leadership of this year's Tennessee Family Series. We are glad that you have decided to spend a little bit of your Thursday night with us and learn more about four of the wonderful departments here on campus and how your student can build community and grow in their leadership during their volunteer experience. My name is Todd Cox, and I have the privilege of serving as the director of our Center for Student Advocacy as well as the host for our family series this evening. We have four wonderful folks who we will get you introduced to in just a moment who have joined us tonight, who will be here to answer your questions and to share a little bit about their office and the work that they do. You will see at the bottom of your screen on the Zoom, there is a Q&A feature. And so with that Q&A feature, that's where you can submit the questions that you have. And so you can type those questions in there. We will have some that we will get to live. We will have our panelists helping to answer questions kind of when they are not presenting themselves, as well as we have staff in the background that are helping to answer questions. A couple of keynotes for this. One is that we are on the topic of community and leadership. So we ask that you keep those questions to those topics and for those departments that are here tonight. And we ask you not to resubmit questions. There's a lot of you here. We're going to get to as many questions as we can, but we may not get to all of them. We ask that you don't have them as anonymous because then we will hopefully be able to get back to you with an answer to your question later on if we're not able to get to it tonight. So, with that, panelists, we are so excited that you are here with us tonight. I want to give you all the opportunity to quickly share who you are, share what your role is on campus, and just give us kind of the elevator pitch to what our office does. And so we'll have all four of you go. I'm going to have you go Nick, John, Chepo, Anthony, solely because that's the order you are in on my screen. And we will use that order a couple of times tonight. So remember your place in line. So Nick, I will start off with you. Tell us who you are and what you do.
Awesome. Thanks, Todd. Good evening, everyone. I'm Nick DeGuzman. I serve as the Assistant Director for Campus Engagement and the Center for Student Engagement here at UT Knoxville. I'm super excited that you all are joining us this evening. The Center for Student Engagement here on campus supports our 500 registered student organizations, and with resources, trainings, development, also some events for the organizations. That's one side of our house. The other side of the office, we support our student programming team. We host about 150 events a year that your student is paying as part of their student fees. And so we encourage everyone to come out. We've got free t-shirts, free food, free snacks, free giveaways, and also just some social connection as well. And we try to do our best to partner with these other three offices on this call, as well as other campus partners across the board. So looking forward to answering your questions, and happy to reach out and happy to answer any post this as we needed to.
Good evening, everybody. My name is John Keith. I serve as the director of the Office of Sorority and Fraternity Life here on Rocky Top. And so, just real quick, so my office is responsible for 48, soon to be 49 social fraternities and sororities here on campus, representing about 30% of the undergraduate student body here on Rocky Top. And so, our office supports the programmatic, the leadership development, as well as some of the programmatic and event registration policies that relate to sorority and fraternities. We are also responsible for the recruitment process that our Panhellenic and IFC organizations go through. And so some of you, I'm sure, might have some questions about that I'd be happy to talk about as we get into the program. But outside of that, we support all of the myriad of things that happen in a fraternity and sorority. So whether it is risk management, whether it's leadership development, whether it's service or involvement, networking, and getting them connected to, some of their peers, not only just on campus, but connecting them to meaningful job opportunities on the back end, really is kind of the focus of our office. And so we definitely believe in kind of that 360 or holistic support. And so we work with your student from the time they step foot on Rocky Top until the time that they graduate. And we are looking forward to getting to meet each and every one of you that might be interested in joining a fraternity or sorority here at UT.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Chepo. I serve as the Associate Director in the Jones Center for Leadership and Service. We do a number of things, support a number of programs, host a number of programs, and also support all of campus and their needs when it comes to leadership education and also community service. To do a really high level highlight of some of the things that we offer, the one that's most relevant to you all right now is Ignite, our Ignite program. I'm sure a number of you all who are on the call this evening have students that are registered for that program. We also offer open service opportunities for students, what is classically called alternative breaks. We have vol breaks programming in both fall and spring. We offer a number of leadership development cohort programs for all levels within UT, first year, sophomore, junior, seniors, and above. And really work to help connect students to community, right? Take their talents, skills, knowledge, and passions and find where they can have outlets in the community to give back, whether that is with nonprofit schools, churches, whatever that may be. And we help run a platform on campus called Serve ETK, where students can go on that website. They can almost shop for different opportunities to give back to the community. We hope that they find some professional alignment with that, but oftentimes there's some personal alignment and they can give back, have those hours logged. We verify those, and across a number of organizations on campus, we help to support making sure that students meet those various service requirements.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Anthony Pruitt, and I serve as Senior Director for the Office of Campus Culture and Community at UT. And essentially, our office is aimed at enhancing that volunteer experience, and we do that through this initiative called Vol as a Verb. Additionally, our office helps students develop their sense of belonging. We invest in their personal growth and development, but also work with them essentially to be well-rounded, globally engaged leaders. Um, when we think about functionality, we threw that and really focus on three areas. The first one is like a community and collective hubs, which are gathering spaces for students to connect with one another. And the second piece is of all is a verb programming. And then we talk about this idea of student support and what that looks like. So supporting their holistic success and well-being of all of our students.
Panelists, thank you so much for introducing yourselves, and thank you again for being here with us tonight. So, want to go in the same order and start off with our opening question tonight, and that is just simply, what are you most excited about for this upcoming school year? So, Nick, I'm going to kick it off to you.
The most exciting thing for me is always welcoming our new students onto campus and seeing their eyes light up at all the opportunities and possibilities within campus, but also within the Center for Student Engagement. We always encourage students to get plugged into at least one thing on campus at a minimum. And so, whether that's in a sorority or fraternity in John's area, or with the Jones Center for Leadership and Service, Campus Culture and Community with Anthony, or the Center for Student Engagement, finding a way to get plugged into campus somehow, some way, and having them realize the potential of things that they can do here, whether it's a social based organization or an academic based organization, and also just seeing their eyes light up when they come to that first event and they get those free t-shirts and the free swag from different campus partners, or join a student organization at the engagement fair. And so just welcoming them to campus and seeing their eyes light up at all the possibilities that are here on Rocky Top for them to take advantage of in their time here at UT.
Yeah, similar to Nick, I'd say, welcoming new balls to Rocky Top and, continuing to build upon the legacy of leadership and service here at the University of Tennessee. One thing that our chancellor, our vice chancellor, and a number of others on campus say, quite often is that, you can't be a bulldog, you can't be a war eagle, you can't be a tiger, but that everybody can be a volunteer. And that's absolutely something that I think we embody here at the University of Tennessee. I mean, it's very infectious, and when I think about this incoming cohort, I think about all the opportunities. I think about all the relationships yet to be made. I think about all the impacts that are going to happen as a result of you all joining the volunteer family, which we really, really are. And so, I just am just super excited about seeing all that you're going to be able to do here in your time at the University of Tennessee. And from my seat as director of sorority and fraternity life, I can definitely just talk about the impacts that students from all over have on the not just the Greek community, but I think the overall student body at the University of Tennessee. And so we're always looking for, those fresh, innovative ideas, people that bring that excitement, that vigor back to Rocky Top. And it really is a special place to be. And it's because of the people like you that decided that you want to come. And so I'd say that that is the thing that I am most looking forward to. And, hopefully my office or one of those that are represented here on this call help make this place feel like home sweet home to you. Because, ultimately, I think you're going to get out of anything what you put into it. And we're happy and willing and ready to support you all as best we can.
I would second those opinions. I'm excited about Ignite. It's Ignite season in the Jones Center for Leadership and Service. We have over 450 students already registered. Our first session in June is completely sold out, and our other sessions are filling up quickly. Ignite, sort of to John's point, is all about making sure people find a home on campus. We offer a couple different versions of the program, but they all center around small groups of students mentored by upperclassmen students that work through, hey, what are you hoping to achieve while you're at UT? The upperclassmen students will help students navigate campus, learn where their classes are. If it's part of the 865 program, we get to take students around Knoxville and go serve in the community. But if you're a student or if you're interested in our other Ignite programs like Summit, that's out at a retreat center right before classes start. And then our outdoors programs in conjunction with our colleagues in rec sports are already sold out, and they'll have a bunch of students going and camping right near the Smoky Mountains. So always excited when it's Ignite season. Love to see great spirit on campus and students having a blast.
I think the thing that excites me most is seeing the students come in and through their engagements with all of the officers on campus, through their relationships that they're forming with other students, uh, really seeing that spark go off in their head of them being able to find their purpose. And like understanding their why and making friends and creating these memories that they're going to be able to look back on for the rest of their lives and say, oh man, I had an amazing time at UT. I had an amazing time on Rocky Top and I met some amazing people. So that's the thing that excites me the most.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody. Lots of great things to be excited about. And I think we all share in that. We are very excited to have our students back and get rolling with all of these great things here very soon. So, want to kick it off to you, Anthony, with this question. So, some of our families and our students may have already been seeing this thing called Vol as a Verb and seeing a little bit about the Vol as a Verb initiative. Can you really just kind of break down what that is? What that means about supporting students and families and how students can really be involved in our Vol as a Verb initiative once they arrive on campus.
Absolutely. So the great thing about Vol is a Verb is it's an initiative that everybody can participate in. It's being able to have dialogue across your differences, your backgrounds, and everything like that, but really designed to support this idea of mattering and belonging on campus. And really, as John alluded to earlier, everybody can be a volunteer, but encouraging those volunteers to put actions behind their words and to ensure that everybody has that feeling that they belong here on Rocky Top. That's through connecting them to various communities, identity support, but also through some really engaging programs and opportunities that allow them to kind of share and develop their own stories and experiences while also honoring who they are authentically. We have a lot of different initiatives and ways for students to get involved. So they'll see opportunities, and few of those initiatives revolve around food. So an opportunity to come and dine and talk with other students and other members of the campus and greater Knoxville community. As well as really looking at these ideas of exploring, practice, and live. And when we talk about explore, that's identifying opportunities to better understand what belonging is and what it means for the community. Practicing is how do I put it in action? And then living it is making a commitment to this a better way of life within the community and beyond. So we got a lot of exciting things coming up. So definitely want students, if you are interested, there are also some opportunities for you to work within our office.
Awesome. Thanks, Anthony. I really appreciate it. Nick, want to turn to you. So I know you've been busy in the chat answering some questions about a variety of engagement opportunities that we have on campus. We've had somebody ask specifically about professional fraternity, so especially about pre-med and some of those opportunities that really lie within the academic sphere, but also help students get engaged. Can you kind of talk a little bit about, those that we offer on campus and what it looks like to join those or any other club on our campus?
Absolutely. Thank you, Todd. And thank you for the question. If you go to, recommend everybody to go to vollink.utk.edu. Vollink is where all of our student organizations are housed, and will update their information. So on Vollink, you're able to go to the student organizations tab, and then you're able to filter that by all different kinds of types of organizations. So academic based, social based, spiritual based, political based, all things that you can think of. There's I think 13 plus categories on there that you're able to filter those between. And so if you're looking for academic specifically or professional fraternities, be it medical field or business field, we do have those on campus. Sometimes they may be supported directly by, say, Alpha Kappa Psi, which is out of Haslam. They are supported directly by Haslam, however, still function within us as a student organization within the Center for Student Engagement and in some way receiving resources and can reserve tables and whatnot. And so by you going there, you're able to then filter those. You can then search based off of medical, business, engineering, etc. Then you're able to find their contact information and reach out to them directly. Each of them will have a different potentially recruitment process or application process as part of being a student organization. A lot of times, too, those student organizations will table at our student engagement fair on Friday, August 22nd from 4 to 6 p.m. on Ped Walkway. That is a great way to see them all in one place, or most of them in one place, to be able to get plugged into those student organizations as well as one of the other 500 student organizations that we have on campus. And so Vollink is probably your best resource, and that's where also they'll post their events as well. So you're able to use that to also define their events, but then also their recruitment strategies. From there, the last piece I would also recommend is if you know which exactly organization you want to, search them up on Instagram. A lot of times they'll have an Instagram that they'll post more direct marketing to students that are interested in joining those student organizations.
Awesome. Thanks, Nick. I think it's definitely safe to say on Rocky Top, there's always something going on. There's always something to do. We've got a club or a org for almost everything. So I appreciate you sharing about that. Shepa, I want to turn it to you. As you said, it's Ignite season. You're super pumped about Ignite. We've had some questions come in about some of those finer details, especially on who can participate in Ignite, who all is open, who all is Ignite open for, but then also how often does Ignite happen and how often would students have the opportunity to participate in an Ignite session?
It's a great question, Todd. And I see a number of those questions that I'm typing answers to in the chat. So as others answer, I'll continue to address those. So to hit that first part, Ignite is open to all incoming students and transfer students that are coming into UT. It's a great opportunity to get connected before you arrive on campus. And like I said at the beginning, what sort of brings all the Ignite programs together is that central theme of small groups of incoming students mentored by upperclassmen students. And really what changes over the course of them is what environment you're in. Uh, about who can participate. So there are some caveats with all the amazing opportunities that you can take advantage of as your student is entering UT. If your student is going through formal recruitment processes with the Office of Sorority and Fraternity Life, unfortunately, your student will be going through that while our August sessions are happening. So we recommend that if you are interested in joining a sorority or fraternity, that you participate with us in our June or July sessions. And then some of your students may be engaged. I saw a question pop up about UT Success Academy orientation. There's the Lead Scholars orientation. That's also happening that week right before classes start. And so we recommend that if your student is participating in any of those pre-arrival programs, that if you want to participate in Ignite, then the June and July sessions are maybe the best for you. What I will say about the programs briefly is so we have three different formats of the program: Ignite 865, Ignite Summit, and Ignite Outdoors. Like I said, Ignite Outdoors is already sold out, always a popular option. Students go and they are backpacking and camping near the Smoky Mountains. Our 865 program, we have a couple of sessions. Our first session is completely sold out, but we have two sessions that are still open. We have an Ignite 865 session from June 27th through the 29th. And then we have another 865 session from July 9th to the 11th. Registration closes for that June 27th session here on Monday, and we have only a couple spots left. So if you want to take advantage of that, I encourage you to jump on. For the 865 session, your student will move into Dogwood Hall for 3 days, get to experience campus life. We take tours around campus. We go on excursions around downtown Knoxville. We go and serve in the community and learn about all the amazing community partners that Knoxville has. And then we also do fun team builders and write community builders and talking about hopes and fears and what you hope to achieve. Summit is the same activities, but it's at a retreat site. So it's more camp style. We do low ropes and a lovely bonfire. I was a camp counselor. I'm a sucker for summer camp. And so that's my favorite. I love getting off campus, right? People sort of take their cool caps off a little bit more. And there's a lot of great connections that are formed there. And so please feel free to drop more questions in the chat if you have. I will also add that our sessions in August, we have an 865 and a summit session in August. You can move in early if you register for that program, something that a lot of people like to take advantage of. Get on campus, get acclimated, participate in the program, and then start the semester.
Awesome. Thanks, Chepo. All great information. Such a cool program. Appreciate you sharing more about Ignite. John, your turn. So I want to move to you because we had a question come in earlier about if their student is participating in either IFC or Panhellenic recruitment, what move-in will look like for them. So when do they need to be moved in by? Is there anything they need to be going ahead and doing now? So will you just kind of break down what move-in needs to look like for students who are going to go through recruitment at the beginning of the fall semester?
Absolutely. So for IFC and Panhellenic, these are two councils that participate in a formal recruitment process. That formal recruitment process takes place the week before school starts. And so for the Panhellenic Council, their in-person recruitment rounds begin in earnest on August 11th. And then for IFC, those in-person recruitment rounds are going to start on August 12th. So for students that are registered by the priority registration deadline, which for our Panhellenic Council is June 15th. So that one is rapidly approaching. And for our IFC Council, the priority registration deadline is June 30th. For students that are registered for those by those deadlines are going to be guaranteed an early move-in appointment. Okay. The early move-in appointments will be for Panhellenic, that's Sunday and Monday. So we're thinking so August 10th and 11th. And then for IFC, those appointments will happen August 11th and August 12th. The idea is that for everybody that is registered by that priority registration deadline, that gives us enough time to make sure that there are enough move-in slots available for those students to come in on those particular days, and then to get them in enough time to participate in the rounds. The beauty, particularly in working with university housing, using this priority registration deadline is also that it allows for us to again, not only make sure there are enough move-in appointments, but also accommodate for any scheduling conflicts that might come up. So I know there have been some students that have already said that they have gotten maybe the August 11th move-in date as opposed to August 10th, and August 11th is the first day of Panhellenic primary recruitment. That is fine. We will be able to go in and edit your schedule and say that there's a conflict and then schedule you for later rounds. So you won't miss anything as long as you signed up for that by that priority registration deadline. Now, I will state the students are still able to register for recruitment after that priority registration deadline. However, there's going to be no guarantee that you're going to be able to move in on campus in enough time to participate in that process unimpeded. And so it could be the case that you get a move-in appointment on a Wednesday or a Thursday or even that Friday. And so this is why we're really pushing to make sure that people that are interested and know that they need to live on campus, if you're not maybe a Knoxville local, make sure that you are registered by the 15th of June for Panhellenic and by the 30th of June for IFC, so that that can be communicated over university housing and make sure that you're moved in time to participate.
Awesome. Thanks, John. A lot of great information for our families to know. So I appreciate you sharing that. Want to toss another round robin question to all of our panelists and or we went in earlier. But when you're thinking about, advice and what to tell families and what to tell students as they're preparing for August, what would you say is the biggest piece of advice you would share tonight for them to help them prepare for the transition and have a smooth start in August when they start here on Rocky Top? So, Nick, I'm going to kick it off to you.
I think for me, my biggest piece of advice would be as you start to get all this information, take notes, write it all down, and then revisit as you have time throughout your summer as you prepare to move here to Knoxville into your residence hall. Be ready to jump both feet in. And we've talked about a lot of these great experiences, and we're not the only four places that have experiences on Rocky Top, but I encourage you to get, again, plugged into at least one thing. And so start doing your research early. So, again, if that's a social fraternity or sorority or a student organization, whatever those may be, start doing that research early. Follow things on social media as orgs will start to post about their information of recruitment and selection processes that can sometimes be overwhelming at an engagement fair or when you first get back onto campus. And so start to do some of that preliminary research now as much as you can while enjoying and resting up for what the fall will bring. But recommend writing things down, taking notes, asking questions. I know a lot of our offices are staffed over the summer and are open over the summer. And so if you don't have your question answered now and you think of something later on that you didn't even get to ask in the chat, reach out to our offices. We are always happy to answer questions and field those as much as we can throughout the summer to get you ready for your first fall here on Rocky Top.
Yeah, I would echo, a lot of what Nick said. I think that, there are a number of resources that are available online, but I think that ultimately what we're hoping for is just to make sure the students find some way to get connected, right? And so we are happy to answer, any and every question that comes in, and even if our office isn't the right place, helping to direct you to the right place so that you can get those questions answered and make sure that you have some support. The biggest thing is that not only do we all work together, but we all like each other, right? And so there are a lot of soft handoffs that happen in our work, and making sure that, like, as students start to explore what is a good fit for them, right? Like, it might not be something that I provide, but I'm able to say, hey, let me walk you right across the suite over to Chepo so we can talk about some of the things that are happening over there. And so my biggest advice would definitely be to just try, right? Like, just to kind of put yourself out there. I think Nick already provided a very helpful tool in Link. That is where organizations are going to be posting all of their events and stuff. It really is like a digital student organization fair. I would recommend, particularly the first couple of weeks of school, that you're checking Link or you're going into your Vol Connect app to see what events are registered there. A lot of them are going to be things with free food. And really, particularly those first few weeks of school are going to be so heavily focused on trying to build connection, right? Ultimately, at the end of the day, we know that how you feel when you get here is going to be a huge determining factor in the ways in which you'll be able to be successful and persist here at the institution. And so we have a vested interest in making sure that you're supported and that you have a community, right? And so whatever we can do to foster that is going to be of the utmost importance.
I second what John has to offer, and I would maybe take a flip sides. Some of you all may have students that are you may be saying, I don't know where they're going to get plugged in, and we do have systems to help them find their spot. But maybe you have the student that's going to go head first, maybe go a little too deep, and get overwhelmed with how many options there are, and maybe almost an inability to say no to all the great things that we have to kick off. I would say, right a word of advice is if that is your student, remind them to pace themselves a little bit, right? There's 4 great years that they'll have here on campus. There's no shortage of opportunities to take advantage of. And it's not like those opportunities are going to run out on the first week. Like some people have dropped in the chat, right? For the Jones Center, maybe Ignite isn't that right fit, but we have experiences across your entire career at the university that you can take advantage of. And I would say the same with all the different offices here. And so, you can sort of play the long game there, right? Find small pockets on campus that you really want to be plugged into, but reminding your students to pace themselves because it's a hot start in the fall. It can be a lot of fun, but sometimes can be a little overwhelming.
Just to kind of echo off Chepo, I was definitely going to say it's okay to learn the lay of the land, kind of pace yourself as well. Uh, And also, not be afraid to try different things, especially the first few weeks of school. Of school, there's going to be so much going on; it can almost be overwhelming. But I think again, Chepo, to your point, pace yourself. Just kind of take your time to kind of see what is going on and see what are some of the things that you may be interested in. Additionally, I would say ask questions. There's going to be a lot of stuff that's new or that's very much different from what a lot of you all are used to, especially the students. So don't be afraid to ask questions. And in that same breath, don't be afraid to ask for help. If you are still trying to navigate it or having difficulty finding ways to get plugged in, or it seems to be a little bit much, don't hesitate to come to either of our offices or any of the offices on campus and just say, look, I need some directions, guidance, or whatever the case may be. And again, to John's point, we have really good relationships with one another, so it's never a problem for us to make sure that you get to the right place. My last piece of advice, and this is important because it's something that a lot of students fail to do, but make sure you're checking your email. There can be a lot of opportunities, a lot of messages. In fact, a lot of the things that are going to come from the university are going to come to your university email. So make sure that you start getting in the habit of regularly checking your email so you don't miss anything.
All great advice, panelists. Important thing for our families and our students to know and remember. So thank you all so much. John, I want to go back to you. So we've had some questions come in about, the four different councils that are represented that you've lightly mentioned. So can you kind of tell us a little bit about our four councils, the differences in those, and where, if somebody's interested in an organization within one of those certain councils, where they can find more information?
Absolutely. So one of the things that prior to kind of doing a deep dive, I will strongly recommend that if you haven't already, you take a look at our website, which is gogreek.utk.edu. And on that website, over on the left-hand side, there is a About Us tab and talks about how to join, and also does a breakdown between the different councils. In particular, the four councils here at the Greek community, like I said, we have 49 organizations. They're sitting at right about 30% of the undergraduate student body. So a little over 9,000 students are affiliated. But each of these organizations really focus on different pillars, whether it's leadership, whether it's service, whether it's academics, whether it is philanthropy. And we have a publication that was made by Student Life Communications called The Torch. And so The Torch is going to be really a digital write-up of every organization that's represented in the Greek community here at the University of Tennessee. Each of those organizations will have a page where you are able to look at their philanthropy, their chapter GPA, their chapter conduct history, as well as some of the things that are important to them or what they believe make them unique here at the University of Tennessee. And so I would strongly recommend that you look at that. And then each council is also represented there. And so the four councils here at the University of Tennessee are the Interfraternity Council, the National Pan-Hellenic Council, the Panhellenic Council, and then the Multicultural Greek Council. And each of those councils have different joining processes. And so the Interfraternity Council, commonly referred to as IFC, and the Panhellenic Council, commonly referred to as Panhellenic, both participate in a formal recruitment process that is facilitated by our office and happens the week before school starts. And so that's the one that's tied to the early movement appointments and things of that nature. And then outside of the Interfraternity and the Panhellenic Council, we have what are known as two culturally based councils, Multicultural Greek Council, as well as our National Panhellenic Council, commonly referred to as the Divine Nine or NPHC. And so those organizations are made up of groups with shared cultural interests, not exclusive, but again, there's this unifying factor centered around culture for those particular organizations. And the beauty is that even in registering for recruitment or participating in any of the events that happen the first week of school that MGC and NPHC are putting on, we try very hard on the front end to communicate not only all the organizations that are available, but the ways in which you can get involved with those different organizations. And so you will be receiving, if you haven't already, information about all four councils and the big events that they will have over the course of the first 6 weeks on campus to kind of see a little bit more and figure out whether or not which organization is a good fit for you. Those councils will vary in different sizes. And so our IFC and our Panhellenic organizations are housed organizations. And so those will be some of the groups that you see over in Fraternity Park and Sorority Village, as well as a couple of groups that have houses off campus, whereas our MGC and NPHC organizations do not have any recognized houses on campus. And then those organizations are going to vary in size as well, right? We've got some organizations that, are as small as 7, right? And we've got some organizations that are as large as 484, right? And so, it really does run the gamut in terms of interest. It runs the gamut in terms of makeup of the chapter as it relates to different colleges and academics and things of that nature. But the one thing that is really kind of the common thread between all 49 of our chapters and our 4 councils is this commitment to the tenets of leadership, to academic development, to networking and accountability, right? And so this is really where our office comes in to make sure that all of our organizations are falling along that spectrum of continuing to develop, the next generation of leaders and to create the premier Greek experience. Not only at the University of Tennessee, but in the country. If you haven't already, I'll do a shameless plug. If you want to go on Instagram and follow UTK Greek Life, that will be a fantastic place for you to find all the information that I just listed, as well as to visually see what some of these chapters look like. We have reels, highlights, and all that kind of stuff from the community. And then if you click the link in our bio on UTK Greek Life, you'll see links that will take you directly to how to register for recruitment, as well as how to RSVP for events like Misconceptions and Stereotypes, which is an event that the National Panhellenic Council, puts on the second week of school, or Meet the Greeks, which is an opportunity for our MGC and our MPHC organizations to do a showcase that happens the first Wednesday of school on 21st Mortgage Plaza, right outside of the Student Union. And so all of that information will be listed there, as well as, like I said, those RSVP links. And I would strongly, strongly recommend that you go and that you do it. And while, I've got the microphone, I'll just take some liberties. UTK Greek Life is the most followed Greek Life account in the world. And so if you want to be a part of history, right, go on ahead and follow us. But again, that's going to be a fantastic opportunity for you to be able to find information, frequently asked questions, and things of that nature. And so definitely would strongly recommend doing that, looking at the torch. And then again, any other additional questions that you guys have, happy to answer those here on this call.
Awesome. Thanks, John. I appreciate it. Love your plug about the Instagram. We just do everything bigger on Rocky Top and on Instagram. So thank you so much. Chepo, want to throw it back over to you. Shocker, it's another Ignite question. So we have some folks wondering, they've signed up for one of the Ignite sessions. So now they're curious, what do I need to bring with me? When am I going to get all the finalized information? So when can they expect to get that information from your office? But also, what are some of the things you would go ahead and recommend they be thinking about, they need to start getting to bring, some of those details that'll be important for our families and students to know?
Sure. I'll start by saying that our Instagram account is quickly catching John Keyston team, so you can follow us at Lead Serve UTK. And we also have some bragging points of our own, more students at UT Serve. We had 164,000 hours verified in the last year, more than any other SEC school. So we're super proud of that figure. In terms of Ignite, so what to bring, we send out communication 2 weeks before, specifically about packing lists. There was a question in the chat about staying in the residence halls, both for Summit 865 and outdoors. You will need to bring bedding. Each of those programs have specific recommended packing lists that we share with participants. For 865, right? It's bringing some sheets and also some towels for your time here. And then for Summit as well, it's sheets and towels that you will need to bring.
Awesome. Thanks, Chepo. Appreciate that helpful information. Nick, want to turn it to you. I know we've had a couple of questions in the chat similar to this that you've had the chance to answer, but I think it's super important for students to know. We talked about VolLink, about finding clubs and organizations that way. But can you talk about some of the opportunities students will have to go to meet some clubs and organizations and kind of get to go out and see what all UT has to offer when it comes to involvement outside the classroom?
Absolutely, of course. That's a great question and great thing to talk about. So the first thing that I would always recommend every student try to make it a point to be at is on Friday, August 22nd, from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. on pedestrian walkway, which is the main thoroughfare of campus, is where our student engagement fair will be. So that is where we will have over 300 organizations that will be tabling on there, and also HSS North Lawn, so all adjacent, where they will be tabling, talking about their recruitment strategies, giving out their social accounts. A lot of times they'll have snacks or goodies or giveaways to be able to entice you to join. Like Chepo was saying earlier, like it can be very overwhelming walking around and putting your name on lists and signing up. And so remember to take a deep breath, sign up for what you want to, but then also know that those student organizations are fully aware that they are all trying to tap into the same student population on campus. And so be mindful that there will be a lot of opportunities out there on that pedestrian walkway. In addition to that, a lot of times that there will be a lot of offices that will host events throughout that first 6 weeks of welcome, that we will have different events that student organizations will also table at. So there are many other opportunities to get plugged into those student orgs that maybe aren't necessarily at the engagement fair or are there, but also hosting those other events. I know John mentioned it earlier. But a lot of times there will be things posted on Vollink that will have recruitment events listed specifically. And so using Vollink as that main resource, but then engagement fair is probably the most organizations will be in one spot at one time is at the student engagement fair on that Friday, first Friday of classes. And so try to make it a point to being at that. It can be a great way to get plugged in. It happens post recruitment process as well for our fraternity and sorority community for IFC and Panhellenic. And so a lot of times they'll bring out their members or their new members as part of that process as well to kind of help them get plugged in to those spaces. And so that's probably the most important event to probably attend for where all those clubs are. If for some reason you're not able to attend, can't get plugged in, or you're just kind of lost on what to do, stop by the Center for Student Engagement. We're on the first floor of the Student Union in 174. We were always happy to pull up Vollink, help find your interest, and help get you connected to anywhere at least we can on campus or another campus office that maybe directly supports those student organizations.
Awesome. Thanks, Nick. I appreciate it. Anthony, I want to turn it back to you. And so you share a little bit about what you all do, but one of the things that always stands out to me is the amount of resources that you all offer for students who are really looking to foster and find community. So can you share a little bit more about what your office and your department provides, especially for students who are really looking to just find and build community here on campus?
Absolutely, Todd. So one of our biggest things is our mentoring initiative. That's where we pair incoming vols with what I would like to say is seasoned vols to really kind of help them navigate that first and second year. And we offer opportunities for them to connect, different types of programming and everything like that, to really kind of give you that extra layer of support as you navigate through that initial year here or those initial few years here. And it also gives an opportunity once you have kind of made it through that first and that second year to come back and serve as a mentor. Additionally, we have a transfer student support group. That essentially is a way, oftentimes there's an assumption that transfer students come in and they're like, that they know what's going on, but the reality of it is we treat them like they're brand new students, and giving them that extra and additional layer of support to find community, but also to navigate what's it like to be a volunteer at UT. So teaching them about some of the systems, showing them around campus so they get familiarity and everything like that, but also building a network and community for them. Um, and I will also shamelessly plug one of the initiatives that I think is super beneficial for students who have an interest in a broad-based experience. We do a program called the Global Citizens Program, which essentially is a 32-week cohort um, of students from various disciplines around campus, but it culminates in a broad-based experience for roughly around 2 weeks. So that's another opportunity. Additionally, we provide one-on-one support through student consultations. And also, again, if there's opportunities where a student is looking for a place to get plugged in, then we have some amazing campus partners that we collaborate and work with as well to make sure that they find their place.
Thanks, Anthony. A lot of great opportunities, especially that mentoring program. I know students have been really heavily impacted by that, and it's really shifted the trajectory in their experience. So I appreciate you especially bringing that up. Chepo, I have a question for you, and it's not Ignite. It's Vol Breaks. So, will you tell us about Vol Breaks? Because students will start hearing about that. They may already be seeing some ads or some of y'all's posts about it. What's a Vol Breaks? What does that entail? How can students get involved in those?
Yeah, totally. So on a lot of campuses, they're called alternative breaks programs that you may be familiar with. We call ours Vol Breaks. And we host Vol Breaks in the fall and the spring. And then we're also launching some weekend trips over the next year that we're excited about. Vol Breaks is a really immersive program where students are able to travel to a different city and learn about a topic. I'll share some examples. In this last spring, we took a trip to Chicago focused around youth development. We took a trip to Washington, D.C. around public health. And then we took a trip to Asheville, North Carolina focused on disaster relief. We've had a myriad of experiences offered over the years. We visited over 65 cities since the program's creation. And that experience is open to all students. First year, second year, third year, fourth year, and they'll always have a topic and then that associated location. The applications for those trips open at the beginning of each semester. And so be on the lookout. Again, follow us on our socials are a great spot to see those things, both as a supporter of Evolve and if you're a UT student. That's the lead serve at lead serve UTK. And you sign up. The trip cost varies. So in the fall, our trip costs are 200, and in the spring, they're 300. Um, of course, prices may vary depending on the travel of those trips, but we'd love to see you be a part of any of those experiences.
Thanks, Chepo. Really cool opportunities. I appreciate you naming some of those really neat ones that y'all just did. John, want to go back to you and talk about really quickly being involved in Greek life, but then being involved in other things outside of Greek life. So I think we'll start at kind of the point blank question. Can students be involved in something else on campus if they're involved in Greek life? And what does that, if they are, I won't give away the answer, how have you seen students be successful and flourish being involved both within their chapter and outside of their chapter?
Yeah, I think that's a phenomenal question. And I think that this also ties into one of the questions that I saw in the chat, Todd. So if you don't mind me taking a little bit of liberty here and answering, we do see a large component, probably the largest component of our community joins their freshman year, right? And so again, as we strive to make, Rocky Top feel a little bit smaller and to make this feel like home sweet home, roughly 90% of the people that participate in the formal recruitment process are going to be first semester freshmen. However, there is nothing that precludes you if you decide that you don't want to participate in that process from doing it again your sophomore, your junior, or even your senior year. One of the many benefits of joining a fraternity and sorority is that it's not 4 years, it's for life, right? And so there are a myriad of ways that you're able to enter into a fraternity or sorority. And so, for some of our culturally based organizations, it might be more common that students are joining either their sophomore or junior years in the organization. But again, these are lifelong commitments. And so people do have the opportunity to come at different points in their college journey. But to more specifically answer your question, Todd, yes, right. Like, given that so many of our students are joining their freshman year, right? Like really their entrance into the fraternity or sorority is really kind of just their entry point. That's the start, right? That is by no means really the totality of their experience on Rocky Top. And I think that my colleagues here on the call can all attest to working with students who are Greek, who are also very involved in the programs that they have going on. So whether we're talking about people being ELs for JCLS or Ignite leaders, whether there are people who are working with Anthony and his center in various capacities and as peer ambassadors or things of that nature, or students that are on the student programming or the programming team for the Center for Student Engagement, right? There are a number of ways that students continue. Uh, after becoming affiliated and being involved on campus. And so that's one of the things that actually our organizations pride themselves on. And so as you go through some of the documents that were shared in the link, you're also going to be introduced to a thing called Standard of Fraternal Excellence. And one of the components in that Standards of Fraternal Excellence is outside involvement, right? Your involvement outside of just your fraternity or your sorority. And so it is something that each of our organizations very much takes, very seriously. To kind of paint the picture of, how involved you can be as a student and still be a member of a Greek organization. Our current student body president is also a member of a fraternity. Our most recent or immediate past student body president is also a member of a fraternity. I want to say that the president before that was also a member of a fraternity. I think that president before that was that Jordan? Yes. Was also a member of a sorority. The person before that was also a member of a sorority. And so, it just goes to show that you can have this experience and it not be a singular experience, but it does carry over and that you're able to be involved in a myriad of different things on campus and that we actually encourage and embrace that.
Thanks, John. I had me thinking back to when I was in college and how, my experience with my chapter really was what opened the doors for so many other things in my involvement, how it wasn't an if or, but it was part of that pathway. And I think that's so important. So I appreciate you sharing about that. Well, panelists, our time is beginning to come to a close. So want to do one last round robin for everybody. Any closing advice you have, anything else you want to share about your department with our families? And if you don't mind, also let families know what is the best way they can get in contact with you and with your department. So Nick, I will start with you.
Absolutely. Thank you all for joining us this evening. For the Center for Student Engagement, I would say the best way to get plugged in with our office is following our Instagram at UTKCSC. With being on Instagram, that is where we post all about student organizations, as well as also campus events. I know one thing that we talked a lot about was our student organizations, but another great facet of our office, the area that I help to directly oversee, is our student programming team. And so that student programming team will put on various events, more social-based events throughout the year, everything from craft nights to game nights to large-scale concerts, to movies. So everything to help them have a social life, help to support that social life outside of their academic career. And so our first event that I would always like to plug is our Welcome Back Bash on that Thursday, August 21st from 4 to 7 in the Student Union in 21st Mortgage Plaza. Is a great way to come out, kind of experience that one of those first large scale events. If they don't get to make it to Tennessee Saturday night, which is that Sunday, August 16th, or Saturday, August 16th, that happens before classes even begin. But yeah, so I would say get plugged into something on campus. Probably my top piece of advice to anyone coming to Rocky Top, and then using all the great resources that you have available to you. Our website, go.utk.edu, is also a great space. If for some reason you lose all that information, stop by our office, and Student Union 174 will help you get plugged in via Volley or to one of our campus events that we've got coming up, or a campus partner should you need it. So looking forward to having you all on Rocky Top, and go Vols.
All right, so Todd, I guess this is my part, right? I think that the information listed here is probably going to be the best place for you to start. I definitely want to again highlight the Instagram because that's going to be the piece that's the most interactive. And so you're not only able to ask questions there, but you're also able to see the information that we repost from the different councils as well as the chapters. And so it would be an easy way for you to find out what's going on in the community over the summer because those are some of the things that we feature on our social media. And then also want to, again, another shameless plug or shout out to Student Life Communications, but on our website, there's a Smoky bot. And so would definitely encourage you to ask whatever questions that you have there to that bot, because a lot of those questions, it's not the first time that those questions have been asked and that it's been built so that we can try to get you some of those, more general level questions answered for you. So anything from, when is move in to how do I express interest to our letters of recommendation required, all of that kind of stuff will be listed there. And then there's also a fun spot on our page for all the parents that are on the call that talks about family engagement. And so it talks about different ways that parents can be involved. And it also talks about things like the financial cost, just to give an estimate of what it could look like for you based on the different organizations. And so there's stuff in there about chapter meal plans, things about chapter dues, things in there about initiation fees, as well as the average rent if the organization is a housed organization or not. And so would definitely recommend that you guys, check that stuff out. And then in terms of, just any advice, again, I just keep coming back to just being willing to put yourself out there and to try, right? Everybody was new somewhere at some point in time. And so remembering that, and embracing the newness and not trying to just continue to do things the same old way that you've always done it, I think is going to be, not only a challenge, but I think a rewarding one, right? To be able to put yourself out there to build relationships, and to make sure that, that you're leaving this place a little bit better than you found it. One of the things that I think is so important about all the offices that are represented here is that, we all represent different pathways into creating community, but ultimately at the end of the day, what we want is for you to have community. And so that's the thing that's most important. That is going to continue to be the theme throughout these family series. And we just want to get you plugged in because we know that once you're plugged in, you're going to be involved for life. And so looking forward to welcoming all of you to Rocky Top in fall semester. And again, if you have any questions, our contact information is listed there.
For the Jones Center, our Instagram is the best spot to see the most up-to-date ways to engage with our department. We post all of our applications there. We have a lovely link tree that will link out to current opportunities that students can take advantage of. And then, of course, via email, right? Providing some information. A couple of you all had some questions about Ignite. I highly encourage you to reach out via email, and our Ignite team will specifically follow up with you, and we can make that a priority. The piece of advice that I would share, particular to the Jones Center, is we're a massive student employer. We have a ton of paid student leader positions that if your student is looking for an on-campus job, we're a great avenue for that. We have positions that help us facilitate service opportunities for others. We have positions, all the students that are facilitating our Ignite program are paid student leaders that want to give back. We have leaders that facilitate our fall breaks programs, and those are paid student leader positions. And so if your student's looking for an on-campus job, the Jones Center, along with a number of other departments in student life, are great opportunities for them.
I would say our best contact information is listed on the screen, studentlife.utk.edu and studentlife@utk.edu. I think the thing that I just want to remind everybody is come here, be open. There are going to be a lot of events. Take the opportunity to kind of see what your flavor is or what you like, and then choose those things and kind of dive in. But echoing Chepo earlier, make sure you pace yourself. Also, we have two physical spaces. We have a satellite location in the student union. And then, of course, one of ours is right down from Hodges Library in between Fred Brown and Hess Residence Hall. So feel free to swing by spaces. We'd love to give you a tour, show you around. And if you have any questions, just let us know.
Panelists, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Thank you for the wisdom and for the insight that you've shared with us. We greatly appreciate it and the work you do to support our students. And participants, thank you all so much for joining us tonight. Thank you for being a part of session 2 of our Tennessee Family Series. We are so glad that you decided to spend a little bit of your Thursday night with us. A couple of quick housekeeping things. We do have a post-session survey. The link is there on the screen, but it'll also be in a follow-up email and in the Tennessee Family Hub. So please, it's a quick 4-question survey that helps us continue to improve these experiences for you as family members of our volunteers. We remember for your student that there is an online orientation that is open for them now that they can complete. They will find information about all the departments that are listed here and tons more. So be sure they complete that online orientation. And for you families, if you haven't already, please make sure you join the Tennessee Family Association so you can continue to see the updates from all the departments here, plus all sorts of news from across campus build community with other families, and have the resources you need to feel empowered to support your students. Lastly, we hope that we will see you this time in 2 weeks for our next session where we will dive into health and wellness and talk about a lot of the support resources that we offer students here around their well-being on Rocky Top. Again, panelists, thank you all so much for your time, your wisdom, and your guidance tonight. To our participants, thank you again for joining us. We are so glad that we are getting to welcome you into our volunteer family and can't wait for your student to join us on Rocky Top this August. We hope to see you in 2 weeks.